Zest is in, where resilience begins, not fixing the cracks, letting the light.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Zest is Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that'll take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, we're diving into a powerful global conversation on money and abundance, exploring how this often emotionally charged and misunderstood energy shapes our beliefs around worth, security, freedom, and success. Which is definitely what the guests that are on this panel today are really embodying. So you are super, super lucky to hear from them today. And they will, I'm sure, explore also how we can navigate it consciously and heart-led from within and without. So without further ado, I'm honored to welcome our extraordinary panel of leaders, change makers, experts, and so much more. First up, we have the truly inspiring Jacquelyn Vasquez, a powerful money manifestation coach, empowering women to stop second guessing their gifts and release scarcity thinking and step unapologetically into more abundance. After that, she is an absolute powerhouse, and she has been so supportive of the Zest is Zen community, showing up on multiple episodes and global panels from last year. We are super excited to welcome back Dr. Iwa, who is a healthcare executive, thought leader, and award-winning author, bridging strategy, intuition, and transformation to redefine modern leadership and impact. And last but certainly not least, she is incredible. We have Andi Hoffer, a truth sayer, not slayer this time. If you watch her episode, you'll see I said that little hiccup last time. Money and career coach. She's the founder of Andi Hoffer Coaching, helping high-achieving women heal their relationship with money and step into lives aligned with freedom, confidence, and authentic success. So as you can hear, these are absolute powerhouses. And I'm sure we're going to explore so much more than just our relationship with money, scarcity and abundance mindset, and so much more. And if you feel called, please share a little love by helping amplify my guests in powerful voices by subscribing for future episodes. It costs you absolutely nothing, but allows this powerful conversation and the wisdom shared here today to reach many more hearts and minds. If you have done so already, thank you so much for your support, and may this panel discussion bring you the clarity, courage, conscious connection, and heart-led abundance that you may be seeking. Welcome, ladies. You are so welcome. You're so welcome, my honeys. Wow, where do we even begin? What an abundant conversation to start with. Sometimes, actually, because we discussed this in pretty much most of your bios, and I know you're all very connected to something much greater than yourself, I first of all would just like anything that you feel right now in this moment, let's just really do that today. Express what you feel like you want to express, and let's really use that as the driving force of this conversation today. Let's really just throw the scripts away, throw the questions away, and just go for it. So if anyone wants to start and feels like there's something they would love to express, feel free.
Yeah, I'd love to start. So for myself, and hi everybody, thank you for being here. It's nice to meet everybody on the panel. I think one of the biggest myths is that we know what we want. And especially when it comes to money, we've had so many challenges, fears, doubts, insecurities that come up that we say we want this, but it's a fraction of what we actually want. And putting out into the universe, like, I want to make $1 million. Like and I feel compelled to say this as women, especially have been put in a box that like asking for a lot of money, or we get the gold digger kind of moniker. And like, we may know what we want, but are we vocalizing it? Are we saying we actually embodying our true heart desires and getting to the core of that. So I would love to have a conversation around this because I feel like
Yeah.
I've just been seeing this in so many people that it's like, what do you want? What do you want?
Mm-mm.
Same, Andy, same. A lot of women don't vocalize it. And, there's so many fears, but I also think there's this underlining thing that as women, we have been programmed to believe we don't deserve. Right? The more that we're looking at the pay gap between men and women, or the more that we're looking at, just simply being a house mom, stay at home mom, right? They're not considered to be really working, but those are the hardest working women I have ever been across, right? And so that alone makes women feel, let me not, I want it, but can I really have it? Do I really deserve it? Am I really enough? Am I really worthy? And so I love that you said that, because that first statement, I always tell my people, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the little girl inside of you. What does she want? Okay. And the moment I hear what she wants, I tell you to double it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just before Dr. Ewa, that's what I straight away so beautifully thought, 'cause as soon as Andy, and I knew you were going to say that, Jackie, because even saying the million, there's actually, if we can think of something, usually it's actually very small compared to what we actually deserve. And we really, really want. We just say something we feel comfortable in, maybe that most people can go, oh yeah, I would like that as well.
Yeah.
So thank you. Sorry, Dr. Ewa, please.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. I 100% agree with what Andy and Coach Jackie said. And I also want to say is that not only that we don't verbalize it, we often are ashamed when the fame and fortune comes in. And I think we have to, we as women have to present it to other women and young girls and women behind us, that it is okay. It is okay to have a brand new car. It is okay to splurge on that Louis Vuitton purse. And yes, it costs you maybe several thousands dollars. However, if you have the means for it, if you work for it, there is nothing wrong with that of having this. And there is nothing to be ashamed of, but also we women don't celebrate our successes enough. And I think we should, and have someone ask you, wow, you can afford this car? Yes, I am, because I made, just because I'm an executive here, or I sold my books, or I'm on TV. It's okay, because I think we need to own our value, we need to own our, whatever we are building, our wealth, whether it's financial, knowledge-wise, because I do want to also say it's not always money. The ability comes in so many different ways. And I think we should be owning. If you have a nonprofit that is bringing support to local communities, scream and shout about it, because there is something to be proud of. And I think I want to democratize and normalize women shouting about what they do and not feel like they are bragging, because that's where the value and wellness comes in and the abundance comes in. And we also have to remember, however we behave, that's how these young girls look at us, and then they're gonna mimic us. So let's show them that being successful in whatever way that means to them, it's very important.
Absolutely. And as soon as you even just said that, what straight away come to my mind, and I would love to what you ladies think of this, is how many times do you hear when you have a young girl who usually is very ambitious, knows what she wants, really likes the nice things, gosh, she's gonna have to have a rich man, gosh, she best marry a rich man. And so without even realizing it, from a very young age, we are getting these, even though we whether, you know, the mind is very impressionable at that age, that they're straight away thinking, oh, that's how you do it. And I'm not saying that's for everyone. Things are changing now. But equally, again, and you said another powerful point of, and I think you said this so beautifully, and again, it's not saying that doesn't happen. Hopefully it does. But how many times do you see on social media as well, a woman get out a car or something, a very nice car, and they say, her husband must be really successful, or, oh wow, what job does your husband do? Or and again, you so beautifully said, no, actually, that can be her car, and we need to change this as well. That can be her car, that can be her. It doesn't mean that we can only receive when we are given it by others or because we are attached to someone else and someone thankfully gave us that opportunity. No, we need to change this.
Oh, I love this because I'm going to be the first to admit that I was like that too. Very much.
I'm sure we all were. Yeah.
Right. But for me, it came from a place of like, I didn't believe that I could do it because I was always, in my life, I've always seen men be the entrepreneurs, men be the breadwinners, men be the one who controlled the money and not necessarily have those powerful women, the corporate executives or the entrepreneurs who were successful women. I never had that. So for me, it was like, I always was like, oh, her man bought her that, like, obviously. And it wasn't of like trying to denigrate women, but it was coming from a place of like, I didn't understand that I could do that too.
Yeah.
A little bit of like nuance there. And yet we still see it even in society where like we don't have as many women who are as successful and who are showing it, who are flashing it, because we're more reserved with money, by and large, where, buying the flashy things, buying the things. Weird. Like it comes back to that shame, that fear that like, I don't want people to know that like I'm doing this because I don't want people to think I'm a gold digger. I'm this, I'm that. And I don't know, I keep coming back to that point, but it's very much a piece of the entire self-identified, like, I can't do this.
I love what you're saying, Andy. There are many women that grew up like that. And so we're programmed to have these beliefs that the man has the money, this, that, and the other. I personally did not grow up like that. My mama made the money, honey. And every time we wanted anything, we had to go ask mama. We couldn't ask dad. He would be like, go ask your mama. Be like, oh my God. Like she held the purse strings. And, my sisters are like that. My, not to put people's business out there, but, a family member of mine did marry rich. And it was easy to look at her as somebody who married rich and, but she still was like, I got things I want to do and I'm still going to do them, So, and I think it has a lot to do with growing up with such a strong woman presence in our life where I always thought that I was the rich man. Okay. Like, I'm sorry. I love, I love my men's and my husband, fabulous, but I was the breadwinner. Yeah. So there are women who, we're the breadwinners. We're the ones that make the money. But we always feel like we got to be the practical ones. Like I got to fit in this box right here and be practical because I'm the one that's bringing in the dough and I'm the one that has to think about the kids and the family and this, that, and the other. And so I love that because when we start to normalize, I am the rich man, everybody around, all the ladies around you change. My daughter, her first thought is her big dreams. She ain't thinking about nothing else. She ain't even worried about that.
Yeah, and can we just remove the gender? I saw something so powerful this week of like
Agreed,
female CEO, female founder. No, founder,
CEO.
Rich. I'm rich. Doesn't got nothing to do with my gender.
but I also want to add that when the moment we put in gender behind, we are also dismissing the men who do take the different roles in our communities, right? I mean, there are plenty of males who are very happy having a wife who supports them, not because they are not doing something right, because they are pursuing their dreams and they have different priorities and they are okay. If anything, these men are actually to be celebrated because they are confident enough to marry a woman who is successful, support her, because very often it's like we always say, behind every successful man there is a woman who is pushing, supporting women. Well, there is many of men who support their wives and partners. In a way, there is really something to be cherished and celebrated. And I think the moment we start removing the gender, we are allowing these men to also be normalized and be okay with it and show every young man growing up, you don't have to be a macho man. You can have a beautiful, successful, smart wife that you are always behind and you are proud of her and you are showing off her, and I think we, by those stereotypes, we are really damaging the different roles that many of us are playing in our communities, our families, in our relationships, and not allowing others to really live and be authentic self. And I love this discussion we have right now, because it's not only about us women, but it's also normalizing for men who are behind us every day of our lives and are clapping for us louder than anyone else in the room. And I think that is something to celebrate as well.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Iwa, yes.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about this, is we go like this, and so I really hope that people have like continued, not straight away going, oh gosh, it's for women, they're already saying, and oh this no, hear us out, the whole beautiful thing. And I find this so much on Zest, and I'm sure on many other podcasts, people will start and they'll say, hold on, they said that, now they're saying that. No, this is the whole beauty of a discussion and an unfolding, is I've come to realize, and people could say, no, there is an answer. No, but in there being an answer, something is wrong, or in something being right, there's something wrong. But that's the beauty. This is how we have these high vibrational, powerful conversations where even as women, we just happen to be women today. I'm sure if there was a male here today, we can go this way and really express how we felt, but we can equally see the other side, and that's a healed woman. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a founder, whatever, a mother at home. A healed anyone is able to see outside of their own views and consider other views. So thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, shout out to stay-at-home dads.
Yes, yes,
1,000%. 1,000%. Because I mean, just as equally, we all were growing up with different programming, and this is how we show up when it comes to our money, right? And our programming has a lot to do with just because I saw a strong mama doesn't mean that I didn't have some money woes when I got older. I had them. I experienced them. Got jealous of the girlies, marrying the rich man. Like, why I got to do nothing? I'm over here. And you don't know how much she really got to do on the other side of that, right? So here I am judging. And at the end of the day, I don't know her trial. I don't know what she's going through. So I love how you said there's different perspectives all the way around the board of, and you pick the one that lights you up inside.
Yeah.
And can I just add one more thing about the different perspectives? I do want to also mention, I read a book by a woman who was a Holocaust survivor, ultimately became a psychologist out in California, and in her 50s got her PhD in psychology, because someone told her that well, you're probably going to be living until you're like 100, so you're halfway through your life, so you might as well do something with your life. So or something different, right? Not necessarily do something different. So she went and got her PhD, and she takes on cases that might seem always very strange to others, but she takes them on because she believes that that perspective is so important. So one of the cases was actually one of the ladies in her book that she described was a young woman who married very well into a wealthy family, where her husband had a significant amount of wealth. And so when this woman reached out to her and saying that she was having a hard time, even her as a psychologist at first dismissed her story, saying, well, what can you be complaining about? But when she met her at a tennis club, this young, beautiful woman came in, and she realized that from her perspective, she wasn't suffering, but she was feeling alone very often, and she didn't know how to fit in. And I think that showed the other perspective, that we also put labels on people. In reality, they have very different lives, many different perspectives. And I think the thinking about the abundance is not only by money, but also being accepted, also being loved for who you are, being really recognized and included in the community we are in. And that really changed her perspective of, you might look on the outside very different than what is really happening in your personal life. And we all have struggles, and we all have to realize it. And her guidance to all of us was, that's because someone looks certain way, or we have preconceived notion, that doesn't mean that they are not experiencing certain things. And again, in this case, She had everything that she wanted, but yet her life was still missing certain pieces, and she spent the time with this psychologist to work through. So I do want to also put back this, that there are many people who don't have financial freedom per se, or what we consider, yet their life is full of abundance and happiness because they chose to do what they want to be doing. And I think we always have to change our perspective of how we evaluate people, whether it's a woman or a man. We all have choices. And really think about it. Is this person that we are saying that it's a gold digger, is it really the right, I mean, first of all, it's quite derogatory, but second of all, what is her story or his story behind versus the just label? Or for someone who may look very poor on our side, ask them, because you may actually find out that they are living extremely fulfilling life. I mean, everything they want to do, and it's not because they have very low goals, it's because they selected how their life will be, and they are prioritizing that piece of their life. And I think we sometimes miss this, that not money is not the one priority for everyone. There is other things that people choose, and it's very important to understand what is their priority and see and understand those before we make any judgments on that.
I think it goes back to, though, okay, we say money, and money we think physical, but actually richness, feeling rich inside, again, which you so beautifully all have spoke about, is we've just spoke really very much about the external, but we can never, ever, ever, sometimes not even our own void inside, we can never know what someone is really feeling inside. And so, like what you so beautifully said, I do believe, like, we all have there's something that we come here, and it's like a fulfillment that I think we have to uncover and find. And until we find that, and it could be multiple things, not one thing, we it's a part of our unfolding and our journey. And so, like you so beautifully said, you know, when you see those people in certain situations and you think, oh, poor them. No, that's because that's how you would feel inside. You feel that, like, oh, I'm so happy, you know, not happy, but I'm so fortunate that that hasn't happened to me. But you'd never know what they're feeling inside. You never know how much joy they get from the community, from, like what you said. So she could have been in this beautiful house, all put together, you know, click, 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 everything happening, but she just had this void inside. And again, she might not know exactly what that is just straight away. But once she finds that, and she can have it all and that, but I feel like that's something that's never revealed to us straight away. It's something we have to go and seek, and we are the only ones that can do that. And so thank you so much.
I was literally just watching a video about this earlier today, where this person is moving out of New York City, and their friend asked them, you know, what is it that you're going to do before you leave? And he's like, I really just want a cup of coffee and a bagel and just walk around and enjoy the sights. And really, it comes down to when and I feel like that's when the richness comes out, is when chapters are changing, when the page is turning. What is it that you're really reaching for to heal your soul? Is it a Birkin? Is it your car? Is it this? Like, and that's okay. But really grinding down to that essence of what is it that is going to just feed that soul part of you that makes you happy. And sometimes it might be a partner who has a lot of money. Sometimes it's a partner who allows you to be the abundant one. But it's really tapping into that connection with who you are and what it is that you truly desire, and being and accepting that unapologetically, because people are going to talk about you no matter what. People are going to say this no matter what. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, you'll never catch up. And trying to please the people, they will never be pleased. Always have to align with you first. Not even your kids, which is like very taboo to say, but not even your children come into the equation when it's like, oh, what fulfills me? And moving from that place, everybody's life is going to look so radically different. So you're right, you know, judging people in what their circumstances, you don't know what that story is. You don't know what it took for them to get there. You don't know the half of what their story is, because even, let's be honest, a lot of times we don't even know half of our own story.
We're like, oh
Yes.
How can we get to know anybody else's story? How can we accept it?
No.
Beautiful.
And we're not supposed to know other people's stories because that's their path, their journey. You so busy on your path, you ain't got no business looking on other people's path. That's like driving and looking in somebody else's car. Baby, get in your car. You can't be over there. You're gonna have an accident, you know? And I love what you said, knowing what you want. I am team, sorry, Shel, but I'm team F them kids. I love you, baby. My daughter's in the other room. But I'm like, y'all, look, real talk. I love my babies. I love them, but they need to know I love me first. Because if I love me first, they can love themselves first. And loving myself first is getting clear on what I want. And not only just knowing what I want, decreeing and declaring it, making that statement, not just, I want a new car. No, I am the driver of a new BMW X5 hybrid. Not telling my story, maybe I am. But at the same time, it is that statement. I'm decreeing, I'm declaring, I'm making the statement now, and I'm going to claim it. Because guess what? That opens up your reticular activating system. Now your reticular activating system in your brain is like, girl, where that car at? And it starts to notice it everywhere. So we are the creators of our reality. The number one thing we have to do is know what we want and then say it out loud.
And I would say is not only say it out loud, but say it to other people.
Yes.
So people know your dreams.
Well, that's the courage.
Yes. Yeah. And that's and be okay with it. I mean, some of us want to have successful careers, some of us want to have money, some of us want to have simple peace and live on a lake and do something different. And I think that's where, when we are thinking about abundance and wealthiness or wealth, it comes in so many shape and forms that we all can define what it is. And also the other piece that I want to mention is we often define success and wealth just based on the career and the money versus the awards that we receive. But it's also for us to be changing the narrative of what abundance, wealth, and success actually means. Because again, it's stating it very out loud. I want to make sure that my community has this, and I'm going to work for it. Or I do like living in this environment, and I think we have to do this. And the last piece that I'm going to say this here is, and don't be apologetic to anyone for your own proclamations, because we all have to be okay with it. Yes. I think Andy said it. People are going to talk behind your back regardless. And I saw a quote, I think last night. It said, people talk behind your back anyway, because they are behind, right? So they are not in front of you. So they are not talking in front of you. And the only decisions that you might want to be thinking about is if someone approaches that topic. But then again, sometimes I always say it's no one else's business what your decision is, except if you feel good about it, because everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone is, because we're going to be different, right? We all are very different and often don't fit the molds in our communities or our families very often. And I think it is how we present ourselves and own these and proclaim it every single day. Say, this is who I am. This is what is important to me. And I respect you for what your priorities are and what you are doing in your life. Because I think the moment we allow ourselves to proclaim it and notify everyone about it and don't feel bad about it, it changes the clarity. To Coach's Jackie's comment, clarity comes in the moment we are okay with ourselves. And I do want to say, very often, the biggest battle is look in the mirror and say the things out loud and see whether that mirror pushes back on you. If because I think that is important. And if it pushes very often, it's not because it's not true, it's because we are afraid. So, and then we have to really, that's the resistance, right? Then we have to really push ourselves to break it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's one piece that I think a lot of people miss, is that when you hear another person make their declaration, support them. Because you are stating to the universe, there is plenty of abundance for everyone. They win, that winning comes back to you. I have always told my clients, if you have a friend who, they say they're going to write a book, tell them I'll be your first client and let me know that I'm going to be there. If somebody's, trying to move, hey, let me know when the housewarming is. Like, vision it ready for them, live in their manifestation with them, support that dream that they have, that goal, that thing. Just, you'll see abundance is just so universal to everyone. Comes back to you because you're declaring not only to the world, but I'm worthy of my manifestation, but is too.
Oh my God, yes. Andy, that's how I won $20,000 on The Price is Right. I used to cry. Every time somebody would win, I would be like, oh my God, I'm so happy for Jan. She really deserved that Corvette. And I'm telling you, like, I got on the show, just decided to go because I wanted to go and won $20,000. Why? Because I was so grateful and happy for all the people around me for their winnings. We don't realize what a magnet we become, not just celebrating our own successes, but celebrating the success of those around us, even on TV.
Yeah.
So powerful because I'm really happy that you ladies have brought this up because I think often we constantly talk about like, do you know what, people are gonna say this, but you stay strong, you stay in your truth, you declare it, you keep speaking it. But actually, we don't often speak about how we can improve ourselves and support others. And I think, again, it's not saying that people aren't. I just think, again, people aren't having those conversations. So I really appreciate you that. Like, until you take the moment to realize, okay, no, I'm feeling this now. Okay, jealousy's coming up. This is coming up. This is coming up. And when you're kind of more conscious, you can say, okay, no, do you know what? There's abundance for everyone. It's okay that I'm feeling this. Let it come through. Let it come out. But equally, for those people that maybe have not even thought about these things, are very unconscious about it, even in you just saying that and not just saying it, oh, let's start being like this, everybody. No, you're listening to these women who are saying, listen, this is something I applied to my life, and look what came as a result of it. What's the worst that you could happen if you gave it a try and you actually become other people's cheerleaders and feel so happy and respectful for them and their visions, even if, like what you said, like you're thinking, oh gosh, she's gonna write a book, is she? No, that's not nothing to do with you. She wants to write a book. Do you know what? Go for it. Do it. And just the other thing, sorry, Dr. Ewa, I want you to speak in a minute, but just the other thing that I really, really love that you touched on, and I only knew this recently, and you've all spoke about this. I think again, sometimes as women, and I don't think it, and I'm only saying that because it's what I've noticed, not because it's a gender thing. It could be, for anyone. But I noticed as well, our language often is a little bit more begging and hoping and praying, like, oh, I would really, because again, going back to those things that you talked about so powerfully at the beginning, whereas when you decree, command. You don't often hear a man saying, do you know when I get that business? No, he's getting that business. And you so beautifully touched on it because it was actually, it just happened to be a male. And I remember we were talking about different intentions and things. And he said to me, no, I don't do that. I command it. And I said, what do you mean you command it? And you've so beautifully said it. And the moment I started really being conscious of my language and using it in a very much more intentional, not begging, not praying, not, oh, I hope. No, this is what I deserve and this is what I'm going to achieve, whether that's in a day, a month, a year, whatever. It is going to come into my life and I know it's going to happen. And that is very different energy. It's got nothing to do with male or female, but I just notice more men have that kind of instilled into them of, no, I'm going to go and get it. And we need to be really looking up to them and taking that from them and saying, yeah, no, actually, I can see the results of your life and I'm going to give that a go because there's something that is working with that intentional language. So thank you.
I am 100% with you. I think changing the language is very important, especially for us women, and saying in 5 years or in 10 years, this is where I see myself, and really have that and stick with it and proclaim it and talk about it like you already have it, because I think
Yeah.
your brain then rewires, right? You are acting at certain level then, whether it's at the next position that you want to be in or having a successful business or whatever that might be. But I also want to go back to one piece about feeling jealousy. We will all feel jealous when we see someone else's success. So, and I don't want to dismiss, because we cannot dismiss our
No,
feelings. We
and
have to
that's the
then
thing. Yeah.
look at them and then say, why am I feeling this? And what it is that she or he did that I am now jealous about? Because very often the jealousy comes in because they achieved something that we wanted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then we have to use them as a way of, sometimes when that happens, I ask people, how did you do this? And it's curiosity in its own. But very often when you congratulate them and ask them, by the way, how'd you do it? I'm really excited for you, but I've been trying doing this. How did you do? And you hear what they are saying.
Yeah.
You're not only supporting them, but also you are getting the hints. You are learning and growing myself and realizing where the pivot needs to happen for you potentially.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
we don't take the opportunity because the angst and the jealousy comes in and becomes that negative, and you become pretty much, oh my, you feel this bad emotion versus turning it into a positive emotion
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fueling you to take your next step. I also think that very often we don't think about it, that if we see someone doing this, it shows you that it can be done. So you might want to
Yes.
try it as well. Take it
Yeah.
Yes.
because it
Yeah.
works. Clearly,
And
it
thank you.
works.
You just added
Yeah.
another layer once again. This is why I really want you to speak in a
No, it's
minute,
fine.
Jackie, but this is why I love these conversations so much because, for example, we only know what we know until we know better, okay? Or
Yeah.
until So, for example, again, constantly, I'm always like, okay, I'm feeling this now. So feel it, process it. This is all very internal again, very internal. You've just so beautifully said another step of, do you know what? Let's take this further. Let's really transmute this. Let's really change this pattern because it came up. Let's do it again. Oh, it's interesting. I'm feeling this. What can I do? What can I do? As you just said, the gold is in front of you. The nugget is in front of you. Whether that person chooses to share or not share, or whether it doesn't matter. But the fact is you took that. You not only celebrated them, but you also gained more insight, more knowledge, more awareness. So really, thank you. Beautiful.
Yeah, being able to dig in deep to see where these emotions and these hidden programs are coming from, you actually, believe it or not, start to see that programming in all areas of your life. So
Yeah.
it's not, you'll find, okay, my partner's doing this thing that might incite a bit of jealousy. My coworkers, my kids, my mom, like these people, they're also designed to reflect a part of you. And pieces of that thing that brings it up, like the jealousy or the envy or the hate or whatever it is that comes up, you can actually start to dissect it and see how it's reflected in multiple areas of your. So avoiding it, not looking at it, trying to skirt around that feeling, trying to pretend like it didn't happen, you're missing out on unlocking so much in your life. The love, the money, the career, whatever it is that you're trying to bring forth into your life. Look at those feelings that you don't want to look like, because as you said, Shel, that's where the gold is. That is exactly the point of it. That it's trying to highlight to you, hey, this is the roadblock. This is the thing that you need to work on. This is the thing that is stopping you in all areas of your life. And it's going to look different in all areas of your life. So there is a lot of work to be done. And I think that once you start to identify, oh, I had this emotion that was pretty big that might have not fit the actual challenge. Like I had a big emotion that it wasn't the right size. Okay, let me examine that and let me dissect it. Let me see, where does it come from? What's the program that's been running? Where are the experiences that I had that have been reinforcing this? What is society telling me that I need to experience? And am I feeling shame for experiencing it on top of all of that? So we like to beat ourselves up, not only for having the emotion, but then for, the shame of having the emotion.
Yes, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what that's why I always say it's important to have, mentors, people who have what you want, who know the path, who can guide you, who can show you, people who have been in your shoes and, have overcome those challenges and asking them and saying, hey, I felt this. What do you think I could do about it? Or this is what I want to create. What are some things that I should consider? What should I look at? So always having a mentor, a coach, or somebody in your corner that's going to like guide you through all of that too.
Yeah, I like what you said, Andy, because everything that you're saying, it seems so like when you're listening, because even I was just listening, like, who that seems like a lot, but I've walked through it, but it seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you only unpack one of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just society that you're like, that's society pressure. I'm feeling it heavy today. Let me check in with myself. Like the pressure to, as women, be a certain way. Or like when things happen, I'm in the States, I'm in the United States. So when, after the last election, as a woman, both the times we'd had women go up. You thinking they're the most qualified candidate and they're still not getting elected. You feel some type of way. And so you just start to unpack these little things. That's why I love what you said, Andy. Having a coach, having somebody to walk you through, because it can feel very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden you find yourself just sitting crying, like, I'm trying to figure it all out. This is a lot. But if you have someone to take you from A to Z, because even with my clients, it's like we'll be on the call and man, do they let me have it. I'll be like, okay, so where'd you get this thought from? And all of a sudden it's my mama, my daddy, my auntie, my cousin. And I'm like, okay, we gotta forgive all these people. We just gonna start with one right now. Let's start talk about mama. So like there's so many things to unpack, but the best thing to do is to have that coach by your side who can walk you through, have that mentor, have that person who's like, hey, boo, you ain't got to do this by yourself. I know it's overwhelming, but let's just take it step by step. So I love that, Andy.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I
I
was like,
now
Dr.
and I
Ewa,
want
I
to
want to know
add
what you think.
and I want to add one more thing. I think having a person to talk to, mentor, coach, however we want to be thinking about this, is I think is very important because it allows you to speak your truth and without being in a place where someone judges you, right? It's supposed to be a
Yes.
safe place where
Right.
you can really brainstorm with someone because very often, let's be honest, if you're doing it more publicly, individuals do get scrutinized in a way that impacts them. So I think this is very important. I also want to mention with the chat boxes right now, I think that can be very helpful if they are properly guided. So I also want to make sure is very often many of us will say certain things to our chat boxes and then it gives you responses that makes you even more overwhelmed. And for those of you who are younger listening to this, I'm sure you are using those. Just let's be mindful that you also have to validate
Yes.
it because I see more and more people spiraling out of control because they are not using them in the appropriate
Yes.
way to
Yeah.
support their mission, like creating a business plan and so
Mm.
forth. They're using them more into fulfill their own prophecy of feeling certain way, and all of a sudden you are in a worse place. So as we are thinking about the wealth and abundance, we like with everything, we need to have the trusted people who can validate your emotions and help you through and help you create a plan. And then also what I also like to do is we all are acting so fast these days. Sometimes I like to slow down the process to allow the brain to get involved. So I will also say is when you're feeling too much overwhelmed or you're feeling like you're panicking or anything like that, many of the things are just creation of your brain because a lot of information is coming. By slowing
Yes.
down, you start looking at the facts and whether we are talking about supporting someone feeling envious or jealous of them or not, or even thinking about it, I should be at this level and I'm not, stepping back and slowing down and saying what it is that what I'm feeling right now, but also what are the points that I already have? Because we very often we don't look in the mirror and clap ourselves we always think about it having done something. So I think this is another piece is for me is be mindful with the chat boxes, so it doesn't spiral out of control, but when you're spiraling out of control or you're having anxiety, slow down the process and give yourself grace, because I think that can help. And then reach out to individuals like Andy and Coach Jackie to talk with professionals who can help you through the process.
But it's going back to that wealth, isn't it? Okay, I know we said money in abundance, but that wealth, we have a wealth of knowledge, of apps, of this. But which is so interesting, because the guest I was speaking to yesterday, we were talking about you can use that app, but if you're not using that app accurately, or not even accurately, the thing is it doesn't know you. It's not personalized to your, whether it's fitness, your body weight, this, your mindset. And as much as people can say, oh, the more you put in, the more it gets to know you, it is still a computer. And often, I don't know, being someone who still gets moments where like, oh, that was a really harsh feedback, or that was this. But that's the thing, I have that discernment always, no. But I mean, as you just so beautifully shared, those younger generations that are still, and it doesn't always mean they're younger in age, but all different types of people and all different journeys. But if you're in a very vulnerable place and you don't know what to do, you don't know who to seek, and you have no safe place or person to speak to, and you go on there and you write out everything you're feeling, you can never know what kind of feedback you're going to get. And like what you just so beautifully said, how that's going to influence you even more, because it can be your like incredible cheerleader where I'm like, should you be encouraging that? Again, discernment. But for someone that wants that instant validation, wants that instant approval, could be like, yeah, 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 and lead them to make potentially worse decisions. So yeah, I just think that, which is why I pointed to you all. That's why I have you incredible women here today, because it's not just a lovely conversation we're having. We are, but it's more than that. It's more than just the words we're saying. These women are showing you that, they're coaches, that in roles that can support you. Again, don't let your mind talk you out the game and say, I don't have money. I don't know. Do you know what? Until you reach out to someone, you never know what kind of doors will open up to you. So take the first step, because you have to be brave and courageous most of the time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am somebody who is very against AI. I've used it for months. Like, I am somebody who's like, I love new technologies. I love everything about it. And however, I'm somebody who picks up on patterns very quickly. And I see the programming behind it. I see the language repetition. I see the mechanism behind it when you're talking to it, when it's analyzing. And that's all it is, an analysis tool. It is devoid of any human connection. When you work with a human, whether it's a therapist or even just a financial planner, as like just somebody who's like one-on-one, they're a person. They connect with you. They have their too, and they have the things that they have been through, the proven things that they have been through. They've walked the walk. And being able to guide somebody by holding their hand rather than just analyzing what it is that is their challenge or their problem. I think for me, that is where it is lacking, where it can be detrimental, because when somebody is in a crisis and they reach to this mechanism, it is only an analysis of what the programmers have input. It's only an analysis of a textbook or what one coach has done or what a team of coaches has, rather than a wealth of experience of knowing that individual. And there's that disconnect. And so for me, having used several different AI tools for months, I'm a scientist at heart. I was an engineer for over a decade. And so for me, I have to try it out. I have to try to poke holes in every which way. Which way can we use? Which way can we actually make this function? But for myself, what I have found is that the lack of connection just makes it so disheartening to use. The lack of personal connection, which I think as humans, is what we want. We don't
Yes.
want us to
Yeah.
just computer tell us. We want somebody who is flesh and bone to be
Yes.
there, a spirit to be there connected with us.
Can
I
I
love the
just
fact.
do one little challenge for you, Andy? Just one little challenge, and I would love your takes on this. It's slightly off topic, but I've had this same thoughts, and then and I would just love your take. And this could be just my mind in thinking this, but I also believe that we have a duty of care to that younger generation. And regardless of how we feel about it, we are the ones that can go in and we can correct it. Because essentially, we are the programmers. So I
Correct.
go on and I actually say, I hope you're not giving this information out to, and I speak to it like I would, and it goes, oh yeah, I realize that's not very compassionate. That's not very kind. And I actually have a whole like session
Yeah.
with it. And again, I'm not saying that that's not a valuable use of people's time, but I equally feel like sometimes the gem is
Yeah.
is shown right in front of our face. It might we can potentially see behind it, and we can see like, no, do you know what? Actually, this for me is not for me. But I think also seeing that, sometimes these beautiful younger generations don't have that mindset yet. They don't know who to turn to. They are very much stuck on these computers. I see it as, okay, do you know what? I didn't like the way it just gave me that response. I'm going to actually tell it that I don't think that's a nice way. Like, imagine if there was someone vulnerable, this. Whether that makes an impact or not, I believe it does. That if I keep correcting it, that hopefully it will learn and it will develop in time. But that could just be me being me. But
Oh,
I agree with you, but I also think it's nice to think all different angles as well.
I've
Yeah.
definitely been training my AI. She's trained. He, them, they trained. Okay. And I talked to it, but I love what Andy is saying about the human component
Yes, yes.
because a lot of it is missing. Even in the coaching industry, a lot of people are like, "Hey, go to a course," and you're just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." But the nuance of our subconscious mind. I mean, again, picture the iceberg, top of the iceberg, conscious, bottom of the iceberg, subconscious mind. There's so much going on under there that even when you're talking to the AI, you ain't you ain't giving it all the goodies. You just giving it what you know that you're giving it. You're not giving it the underneath the surface stuff. And that's why I really believe, and yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
use it. I use it for what I use it for. But that deeper underneath stuff,
Agreed.
I know is going to take action by me.
Yeah.
And my that AI may not tell me. I know that when I'm freaking out or I'm super jealous, there's some sense of subconscious, some sense of
Yeah. Yeah.
internal nervous system regulation that is needed. Honey, AI can't
Yeah.
give that to me.
AI's not giving you
I
that.
mean, they can write me a tapping script. They can even tell me, here's a meditation. Now go record it. Okay. But AI can't give me that
No,
sense of nervous system regulation,
absolutely.
that sense of calm, that sense of detachment. Like a lot of times we're not receiving the abundance, whatever it is you're
Mm.
asking for. It could be abundance of love, abundance of money, and abundance of whatever you're looking for, but you haven't detached yourself from that outcome.
Oh
And so
yeah.
now you're so obsessed, you're talking to AI again about it. Okay. And then you're wondering why it's not coming. Baby, you got to detach, right? You got to
Yeah.
believe. AI is not
Yeah.
going to help you believe. AI will have you sitting there like, okay, this sounds good. It reads nice, but do I believe it? I don't believe it yet because I'm
Mm.
still looking at the current what isness of my life and I'm not creating the new. So I
Amazing.
love what you're saying, and we need that human touch.
Agreed.
AI is great. I love it. I love it. But AI can help me with my website. It can help me with my captions. It can even help me with
Discernment.
my hashtags. Okay. But AI, when it comes to the deep,
Yeah.
everything that we've been saying, the unpacking of all the things, we need that human touch. That's why I changed my pro.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna ever be, here's an evergreen course. Go ahead, learn.
Mm.
Because there's not gonna be what I mean, you gonna manifest because you probably already halfway believed what you were manifested. If you want something bigger, if
Mm.
you want something better, if you want something out of your reality, That's what I'm here for. We here to dream big, baby. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And
All of
Alex,
you are.
you know,
Absolutely.
and I want to add one more piece to this. And Shel Marie, I think you touched something upon that. The Gen Zs and the alphas and the betas that are coming right behind them. Let's be honest, that's their way of interacting. There
Yeah.
is no other way around it. I think COVID gave us a lot of places where our technologies have improved, but also created separation, and younger people are definitely living in that separation very
Yes.
tremendously. So while we can say that human interaction is important, many young people don't necessarily feel that. And to be honest, very often they do not know how to even behave next
Yeah.
to another
Yeah.
human being because they are living in a very different space with their goggles on and in the reality, artificial reality. However, what I do wanna say that this is where responsible AI it's coming in, and we do have to provide. And we have to provide it because the people who are coding, they have biases, and there might be biases that are cultural, there are racial, there are religious ones, but there are also probably many other behavioral psychological biases that are coming in. So they are inherently programmed in those. The second piece is what they are training on. Meta trains their models on Facebook and Instagram and potentially WhatsApp, where Gronk tested on X, right? So we have very different responses. That's because they are being tested on different populations with different perspectives and different views.
Man.
So you always have to think about it, where these are coming from and what is the base for it. Gemini is clearly on all Google and Gemini and our Gmails, so it has a very different information. So they all behave differently because of the content that they are trained on, plus the people who are doing this.
Yes.
But the piece that I want to mention is that is right now not being done. Young people do not know any better. They do not know where the boundaries are sitting. So creating responsible AI and putting the boundaries of what is ethical, where AI should never go in. We already know that several people they already lost their lives because they acted upon what was provided. We have to, as the programmers, those who are training the AIs, those who are interacting, put and demand those guidelines to be put in, so certain information never comes out. And I think that's what it is, because I am with you, Shel Marie. These young people are on it, and they're spending more time than they are spending talking to their parents, to their friends, and they are living in that space. So knowing that the use of it is going to be only larger, not smaller, it's going to, because it's everywhere now. Your tools behind here are taking notes on our speech, and it's gonna giving you points how to then disseminate it. And I think knowing that the responsibility comes back to us, knowing, to your point, young people do not know better. They are using it, they're gonna only use more. So how do we protect it and bring the reality and the perspective back from those of us who have left? And it's our responsibility to ensure that we communicate the differences between the tools, guide what should not and should not be expected, ask our legislative body to create responsible AI tools that can help. And ultimately, if we can talk to the young people, talk to them about the importance of talking to a human being, because in the next few years, unfortunately, there will be very few people meeting in person if it goes like this, and if we don't make it a point to be changing the environment.
Yeah, and to that point also, Eva, is that there are coaches who have AI apps for coaching. And I also want to stress that, being the scientist, I've subscribed to a couple of them to see what is this, maybe is this something I
wisdom.
And I'm going to use two. One was a spiritual. These are anecdotes, obviously, so please take it with a grain of salt. One was a spiritual one, and was a more business focused. And the first one with the spirituality, I made, talking about relationships and stuff, and came across canned messages because the AI wouldn't divulge personal stories because it's a person, but they don't want the entire world knowing what they do. They want to release that information on their own time. So it's like, okay, well, I can't connect with you via relationships because it's very much like blocked off on this. So there's no connection there. And then on the flip side, with the business coaching, I asked a very specific, like, can you give me an example of a time that you failed? They're like, well, this one time I failed this multi-billion-dollar deal and that felt so bad. And I'm like, not relatable at all. Like, I'm nowhere near that. Like, how can I, at my point where I'm like trying to get advice, feel like, okay, well, you failed at billions. I'm here failing at thousands. What, how do we make this connection? It all comes back to, even now individuals are having their own AI, that you think you're talking to the person, you think you're having this one-on-one connection, rather than just like a massive tool like ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini or whatever, where like we can sort of like disconnect and think, oh, this isn't a person. But now have people who have individual AIs that use their coaching, their language, their programming, and you like, now even adults are like, oh, but this is a person, but they're still, even in that very specific instance, there's still lack of connection. And it's really hard to discern for the people, because maybe they use it casually, maybe they use it here and there, but it's always that missing link that it keeps coming. Yeah, I agree. We do need to be protecting our children, and like, it's a great tool to maybe loosen their dirt up a little bit, but we do have to plant seeds within our children and help them to grow up in an environment where it's safe to talk to their parents, it's safe to talk to professionals, it's safe to, be expressive in their needs and their desires, especially when it comes to knowing what you want. We come back to the initial topic, is expressing all of this stuff and making it safe, especially for future generations, because we can continue to dig this hole with, or we can take it upon ourselves to keep planting those seeds, which I'm in favor of. So absolutely.
And just putting it out there, especially as money is one of the themes we're talking about today, I want to throw it out there that when we think about this, and the younger generation, and they're not always in a position of money, and the establishments that house these beautiful children are not always in a position of money. I think we need to equally be very open-minded about just receiving money, because what we've so beautifully highlighted here is we need to go to the source, and the source isn't going to be sat probably opposite us on a computer, and they're probably not going to be listening. And so sometimes, I'm not going to say, I'm sure everyone's picking up what I'm trying to say here, but we have to be very creative, and sometimes, out of our fees, out of our whatever, realize that sometimes when we feel this empowerment, this impact, and this duty of care, we need to some way, somehow put aside other things. Not saying that, again, that's not based on our value and our worth, but go to the source. And there is the abundance sometimes, because I think often money, abundance, yes, equally, we get to a point where we should be also be being respected and compensated for what we are putting out into the world. But equally, sometimes, like, I'll be completely honest with you. For example, Zest, okay? With Zest, why am I still going 100 and whatever episodes without even monetizing? So, not even getting likes. If I really, really, really was doing it for the money, I would have given up a long time ago. But I know, back to that declaring that powerful language, I know the impact of what I'm creating. I know the wealth and what I receive from connecting with incredible women like you. And I know it's much more than the this many likes. And I know all that will come. I know that. Not I believe, I know. But equally, sometimes, particularly when we're on the start of our journey, or when we get these urges, these impulses, and we see something, we have to also think a lot more than just money. I think we have to think of something much more impactful. And again, it's not a compromise. You can equally have impact and money growth. So I would love your takes on this because I know equally it's very, um, it's not a one way. It depends on what it is you're thinking about and how you're going about it. It's got nothing to do with the compromise. But sometimes, if you want to go into that area, that school, that whatever, sometimes they're not going to pay you. They're not going to, and I think we have to think back to what is the impact I really want to create and leave with what I am infusing into the world. And if that client, that person, that child is not able to, you know, pay my fees, we need to just sometimes reevaluate that, I think sometimes.
So I'm gonna start here, and I want to say I always think about creating authority, visibility, and then monetization, right? I
Yeah.
mean, monetization sometimes comes in at the end of the whole process. So
Mm.
it is really what you are doing is right now, first of all, for all of us here on this, we are creating the authority within the special area where we want to be known for.
Yeah.
You are doing this with your podcast, you are bringing in different individuals. So you are highly visible on LinkedIn as well as YouTube, and I'm assuming you have probably Facebook. So you are already creating the authority, you are known. People are signing up for your podcast because they know
Mm.
that you have audience that actually reflects it. And I think that's what anyone should be thinking about. The monetization is coming in right after that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I'm thinking about creating a brand, and many executives right now actually do this, they are very highly visible on LinkedIn where all of the professionals are sitting, right?
Yeah.
And do they get money from posting this one thing? No, they don't. However, the ability to be presented and have something
Mm.
thoughtful in their area or in the leadership set, it
Yeah.
gives them visibility to recruiters, which then potentially can bring them new opportunities. Potential hiring managers are sitting there. So you have to evaluate it, what it's giving you,
Yeah.
and think about it, what you are thinking about doing, and what is the payoff, not now, but what it's going to bring. What is your long-term goal? Do you want to have
Mm.
authority? Do you want to have visibility? Do you want to have likes? Do you want to have monetization? And just build it on that. Nothing's going to come in immediate. With every so many people are on social media, and there are people making millions of dollars. But last month I met a woman that used to be a pastor, and now she is Elaine Wilder. She does coaching on selling $1 million from one session. But she also started on the bottom a couple years
Yeah.
ago, and she
Yeah.
started doing crappy little videos. And she said it; they weren't good. She wasn't even looking at the camera. But she now is doing because she built
Yeah.
the authority. So
Yes.
again,
Yes.
what you're doing is the right thing. Authority, visibility, or visibility, authority, and monetization comes
Thank
in later.
you.
Sometimes comes
Yeah.
in later than we would like. Sometimes comes in much faster, but
Mm.
this creates your visibility that helps in the future. So that's my only point that I
Absolutely.
want to make.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Agreed,
much, Dr.
Dr. Eva.
Eva.
And I was gonna say impact first, income
Mhm.
second. First
Yeah.
comes the impact, then comes the money. But
Yeah.
I will say this, know how much money you want.
Yeah.
Hmm. I agree. I
Hey,
agree.
Again, not we're
like
not
Know
just
your
here. We're
value.
not
don't
here
do that
just
to
to.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, oh, but it's not about the money. That's all of us heart-centered
Well,
people. But let's have
it
a
is.
reality
Yeah.
moment. Let's have a
It,
Yes.
reality moment.
Yeah.
It
it,
Yeah.
is. If
it
you didn't
is.
have
Yeah.
no money and you were sitting here with no roof over your head, you're gonna be finding a way
Drip.
to make some money. Right? And
I
so
agree.
that's the thing. Like, I feel like, again, as women, we do that. I'm so heart centered. I'm just doing
Yeah.
this thing. And girlfriend, and you deserve the money. Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the energy that you're putting out there. And it doesn't have to be from the clients, it just more impact. Guess what? Now brands are coming to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shell, I done just saw your thing and I want to run my stuff on your thing, right? Like now
Exactly.
people are coming to you. So please declare the money. I decided November 2025, I'm a millionaire for 2026. 2026, I'm going to be a millionaire with ease, with flow, with this, with that. The moment I made that statement back in November, by February, I was at a CEO conference surrounded by millionaires.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not only that, I speak it out loud constantly. You know how many people come to me? Ooh, Jackie, I got your $1 million idea. And people just coming to me, coming
Mm.
up to me. Or, ooh, girl, I know these people. You need to go speak on their stage. Or, ooh,
Yeah.
girl, I know this.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to
Yeah.
think. My
Manifesting.
statements are
Yep.
bringing all these opportunities. I said I'm gonna get it easily and effortlessly, and I still believe that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
standing 10 toes down on it. I ain't going nowhere. And I'm gonna tell you, even if December 31st, 2026 rolls by and the money ain't in my account yet, I'm still gonna say I'm a millionaire. Because
Yes.
what
Yeah.
I
Yes.
know to
Yes.
be true is throughout this whole year, I have been behaving like one, walking like one, talking like one. I have been becoming her.
Mm.
I'm just waiting on the money to show up. I'm like, okay, money, whenever you ready, baby. And the thing is, I'm gonna keep showing up, making the impact.
Yes.
I've noticed that the more I've never had so many people running up to me tomorrow. Can I get book a call with you? I said, where is this coming from? You know, right?
Energy. Energy.
Yes. But it's me hanging out in that energy. So you are
Yeah.
allowed to want it. You are
Yeah.
allowed to say, I want the
100%.
money and I want the impact. I want the impact and I want the money. I want to
Absolutely.
impact a
Yeah.
hundred women by the end of this year and I want the money with it.
And
So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
I just
you.
want to say one more thing to this. I think that's being visible. That's exactly where you're leading towards the money. Because I mean,
Yeah.
it's you want to get a new position, you want to have a successful business, you have to be visible. If people do not know about you, nothing is gonna happen, and you
Mm-mm.
have to have a point of view. So at the beginning we all struggle, but to your point, if you tell yourself, I want to have 100 women that I helped, and I want to be a millionaire, I'm gonna bring $1 million revenue by end of the year, you can do this because then
Yeah.
it is out there in the world to actually state it. And we sometimes say, oh, we shouldn't be talking about our dreams too much. I think I
Mm.
would reframe it. We should be talking, but to the right audience, and talking to
Yes.
the people that can expand that reach. Because the moment you talk about it, if you tell someone, they will tell you, oh, I know someone, I will introduce you. That's
Yeah.
where all the booking comes in, right? Because all of a
Yeah.
sudden people talk about you when you are not in the room. And that's what you want. That you want to be talked behind your back in the rooms you would
You
never
know.
be talked about, but in the right way, right?
Yeah.
So I
yes,
think that's what that visibility and authority is. So I'm gonna
thousand
stop.
percent.
Yeah. No, I always
Beautiful.
tell my clients that you need to speak about whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever you're trying to create all the time in a way that is impactful. For instance, if you are trying to create a new job, you have to think about what does that career look like? What does that thing look like? Watch videos on it, post it on your vision board, but like always have it at the
Mm.
forefront of
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I'm going to say this to the world, and this might be a little controversial, but you cannot dabble in manifesting something.
You
You
sure
can
can.
dabble in creation. It is a 24/7 thing
Mm.
happening.
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
are not pushing
Yeah.
towards a thing, you are pushing for something else. So whatever it is that you want, especially when it comes to wealth, health, love, whatever it is that like very
Mm-mm.
speak it. Speak it
Yeah.
out
Come
loud.
on.
Use that throat chakra. Bring
Yeah.
it into the world. Talk about it. Be about it. Live it.
Mm-mm.
Experience it. And it's always about really declaring it in every single thing that you do.
Yes.
So, a
Yes.
little anecdote. I just manifested a mahogany desk. And
Yay.
whenever I would see something wood, I'd be like, "Oh, is that mahogany? Is that
Oh,
mahogany? Is that mahogany?" And like it just that was the first
Yeah.
thing I always asked. And if it was ever mahogany, I would take it, I would
yes.
touch it, smell it.
Yes.
I was like, "Hey,
Mm.
envision myself at this desk."
Mm.
We see
There
it.
you
Oh
Woo!
God, that's a pretty
Nice.
dance. We like that. Yes.
go. For free. And this is just a small example. But because everything I did revolved around, I know I'm going to have it, but I'm just
Yes.
preparing my senses for it. I'm talking about it. This is what I want. I have
Mm-mm.
this big mahogany desk whenever I'm speaking to my manifestation group. I have this
Yeah.
big mahogany desk where I'm getting my work done, where like I feel so powerful at it.
Mm.
Speaking about what it is that you want,
Yeah.
coming to a place of knowing what it is that you want,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
powerful, absolutely powerful.
But this was the realization I had, which you were like beautiful ladies have just so much clarified. When I first had this manifestation thing, there's me thinking it's this thing, it's always a positive thing. No, we are manifesting every single minute of every single day.
Every
That's why you have
single
got to
minute
be
of every
so conscious of
single
this and of this, because when you're saying like, oh gosh, I'm just so tired today. Guess what?
day.
Every time
You
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 get
get
more
more
time.
tired. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful.
Yes.
I'm not saying, don't say you're not tired. Don't, be disconnected from how you're feeling, or it's okay to be tired. But if you're feeling like you've got to get your butt in gear and you're just going, I'm just so tired. And then you wonder why you can't get that spark. You can't get that motivation. Maybe think about how you're telling yourself, what you're telling yourself. What actions are you taking? Is it good to just sit there maybe on the sofa still and feel like that, or get up and do something? And I think this was one of the most powerful things for me is whether we are positive or negative, want it or don't want it, we are always manifesting. That's how powerful we all are, all the time.
always, every second, with every atom, with every fiber of our being. You're right. It is about what you say and what your head and your thoughts, but also your heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coherence. So why
Yeah.
not be obsessed about what you actually do want and just be like, gosh, does she ever shut up about the mahogany desk? Do you know what? The mahogany desk is coming any minute now, so that's
Hello,
why
somebody. Okay.
it's better than talking
Hello.
about the weather.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I
And
think
I
it's that
love that you
embodiment.
got that. Beautiful. Yes,
Yes.
Andy. Love it.
Yes. It's that embodiment though. It's us being. You have to be.
Yes, yes,
Be
yes,
now. Be
yes.
all the time. And that's, not to go back to AI, but AI can't help you be, baby.
No, absolutely not.
No. Ladies, I really want to be conscious of the time I am. I've loved the conversation so much with you all, but equally because I know that you're used to the Zest Zen and you showed up just so fully, so open and so ready just to have a discussion. Equally, because I know that this theme and this topic sparks something within you. If there's still something inside you that you feel like the listeners would really benefit from hearing, like please use this time now to just express anything you think that's maybe it's not been mentioned or that you think would be a really beautiful, maybe in the moment, transformational gem for them. Feel free to express it.
Okay, I just was gonna say, when it comes to manifesting, remember your brain thinks in pictures. So when you say
Mm.
the statement out loud, your brain is gonna automatically be like, what was that? It is gonna think in pictures and it likes to solve puzzles. So
Yeah.
if you over here like, hey, mahogany desk, Andy, right? Andy probably pictured 100 different mahogany desks in her brain. She probably had a whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden your brain is trying to figure out how can we get that? Where can we find that? It's looking for the opportunities, it's looking for the things, and your brain tells your body what to do. A lot of
Mm.
us are out here trying to action away. Baby, it starts right here in your mind. Your brain is going to tell
Mm.
your body what to do, and your body is going to get into action. And when your body gets out there into action, I mean, honey, that's when you're really honestly unstoppable. So start
Yeah.
with the way you're thinking first. Grab you somebody, a coach, a mentor, somebody that
Yes.
can help you create the reality you want to live. Life is happening for you, not to you. And last but not
I
least,
love it.
remember that you're a gift to this world. Please treat yourself like one. The whole world will change, not only for you, but for the
Let me
rest of
give you. Let me give you some love for that. Do
Oh,
the love.
us.
Right, who wants some love next? Go on then.
Go ahead,
oh,
Andy.
okay. I'll go next. Let's see what's coming through for me. So, this conversation has sparked so much in me, from speaking about what we want, what we own, how society plays an issue, to technology and the entire gamut. But really, what I think it starts with is knowing yourself. Get to know yourself, get to know who you are. Don't be afraid of doing that inner deep work. Don't be afraid of really getting in there. And sometimes that is the bottleneck, is that we refuse to look at what's inside. But
Mm.
Inside, as Coach Jackie said, you are the gift, you are the present, you are the prize, and the world needs you.
Well, very well said. So
right, go, Dr. go!
So just to add on everything, first of all, there was quite a discussion. We covered a lot of different topics, but I wanna just settle everyone with this part. It's all in your control. You can do it if you put your mind to this. And and also wanna say is know exactly what your success, wealth, and abundance is in your terminology, and stick with it and know what you want to do. Not everyone needs money or want money. Some people want to knowledge, some others want to make communities better, or others want to have be good parents, good spouses, whatever that might be. And I think we all have many different priorities, what it means to us. Focus on what it is that is important to you. Don't give in to the what someone next door does, because they have their own journey, they have their own priorities, and we do not know where they have been, but shaped where they are currently and where they are headed. And then finally is imagination. Use your imagination, because the abundance in this world is so large. There is enough for all of us, but there are so many different ways of having the abundance come through. So if you can think it, if you can imagine it, that means that is to be for you to be taken it. So I really ask you, be creative, be thinking, and there is no bad answer when it comes to abundance and wealth, because there is always so much of it, and it can be any way, shape, or form that you would like. Thank you.
Beautiful. And just because you all touched on it, actually, be very conscious about the way you are speaking it into reality, existence, whatever word we want to put there. Because as you so beautifully said earlier, Jackie, and you just touched on as well, Dr. Iwa, and I think like it's been out throughout the whole episode, we can all get to the destination, which is never the destination. But equally, we can force, we can send those emails, we can, or we can ask for ease and flow. So again, kindness, grace, compassion. And if you're sitting there now like, ease and flow, if I want to build, ask yourself why you're thinking that. Because if you're thinking that, guess what? That's what becomes. So just really connect to that. And it's not a judgment on yourself. Just, that's interesting that I'm thinking that. Okay, do you know what? What if I do choose to believe that that could happen? Guess what could happen? So I think, just be playful, be curious, be childlike wonder. And thank you so much, you incredible, 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 incredible women. You are, once again, I'm just feel so proud to have hosted such an incredible conversation, and love you all so much. And thank you for showing so much support and trust in the vision, and just really using your insights, your wealth, your wisdom, and just everything to do with you just to infuse more love and empowerment and so much more into the world. Let's not even put all the labels sometimes. That's just what you so beautifully said. Imagine it, feel it, and just connect to it, because sometimes it's much more than words. Thank you all so much. And all of their details will be in the description. Share some love for these incredible women. And I feel like many people should go back and listen to it again, because there's so many gems in this episode. Much love to you all. Thank you.
That's the magic. That's Zest.